What Everybody is Saying, an ex-FBI Agent's Guide to Speed Reading People by Joe Navarro and Marvin Carlins, and actionable steps for entrepreneurs to implement these points for success in business and life. Chapter 1. You Are What You Signal. The first chapter of the book lays out the premise that our body language and nonverbal cues can reveal more about our thoughts and feelings than our spoken words. Joe Navarro, the author and a former FBI agent, explains that our bodies are constantly signaling our emotional state, and that we can learn to read these signals to better understand the people around us. One key takeaway from this chapter is that we should pay attention to the nonverbal signals we are sending, as they can influence how others perceive us. For example, crossing our arms can signal defensiveness or resistance, while maintaining good eye contact can signal confidence and honesty. Entrepreneurs can benefit from learning to read and send these signals in business interactions, such as during negotiations or when pitching to investors. Actionable steps. Observe your own body language in different situations to become more aware of the nonverbal signals you are sending. Pay attention to the body language of others to better understand their emotional state and intentions. Practice sending positive nonverbal signals, such as maintaining good eye contact and open body posture, to project confidence and trustworthiness in business interactions. Chapter 2. Limbic Resonance. The second chapter delves into the concept of limbic resonance, which refers to the way our emotions and behaviors can be contagious and influence the emotions and behaviors of others. Navarro explains that our mirror neurons allow us to unconsciously mimic the emotions and movements of those around us, leading to a shared emotional experience. One key insight from this chapter is that we should be mindful of the emotional energy we bring into our interactions with others, as it can impact the emotional tone of the entire interaction. For example, if we approach a business meeting with a positive and enthusiastic attitude, it can create a more productive and collaborative atmosphere. Actionable steps. Before entering a business interaction, take a moment to check in with your own emotional state and try to bring a positive and productive attitude. Pay attention to the emotional energy of those around you, and try to match their positive or negative energy to create a shared emotional experience. Practice empathy by putting yourself in the shoes of the people you are interacting with, and try to understand and respond to their emotional state. Chapter 3. Living Libraries. The third chapter introduces the concept of living libraries, which refers to the way our bodies store and reveal information about our past experiences and emotions. Navarro explains that we can learn to read these nonverbal cues to better understand a person's history and motivations. One key takeaway from this chapter is that we should be aware of the nonverbal signals we are giving off that may reveal our past experiences or emotions. For example, a person who has experienced trauma may have a heightened startle response, while someone who is feeling anxious may exhibit repetitive behaviors like tapping their foot. Actionable steps. Pay attention to the nonverbal signals you are giving off that may reveal past experiences or emotions, and try to manage them in a way that aligns with your goals in a given interaction. Practice active listening by paying attention to the nonverbal cues of others and asking questions to better understand their motivations and experiences. Be mindful of the potential impact of your words and actions on others, and try to create a supportive and understanding environment in your business interactions. Chapter 4. The Brain's Very Own Dictator. In this chapter, Navarro explains that the part of our brain responsible for our fight or flight response, the amygdala, can override our rational thinking and cause us to act impulsively based on perceived threats. He emphasizes the importance of recognizing the signs of amygdala hijack and developing strategies to manage this response. One key takeaway from this chapter is that recognizing the signs of amygdala hijack can help us to make more rational and productive decisions in high-pressure situations. As an entrepreneur, you may encounter many situations that trigger your fight or flight response, such as negotiating with investors or dealing with difficult customers. Actionable steps. Learn to recognize the physical signs of amygdala hijack, such as an increased heart rate or shallow breathing. Develop strategies to manage your amygdala response, such as deep breathing or reframing the situation to reduce perceived threats. Practice stress management techniques like meditation or exercise to help reduce your overall stress level and make it easier to manage your amygdala response in the moment. Chapter 5. Clusters and Baselines. In this chapter, Navarro introduces the concept of clusters, which are groups of nonverbal cues that can be used to identify a person's emotional state or intentions. He also emphasizes the importance of establishing a person's baseline behavior, or their typical nonverbal cues, in order to better recognize deviations from this baseline. One key takeaway from this chapter is that paying attention to clusters of nonverbal cues and deviations from a person's baseline behavior can help you to better read their emotional state and intentions. As an entrepreneur, this can be particularly important in high-stakes situations like negotiations or conflict resolution. Actionable steps. Learn to recognize and interpret clusters of nonverbal cues, such as crossed arms and tense shoulders indicating defensiveness. Pay attention to a person's baseline behavior in order to better recognize deviations from this behavior that may indicate a change in emotional state or intentions. Practice active listening and observation in order to better identify clusters and deviations in the nonverbal cues of the people you are interacting with. Chapter 6. The Torso and Limbs. In this chapter, Navarro discusses the nonverbal cues conveyed by the torso and limbs, including posture, gestures, and movement. He explains that these cues can reveal a person's level of comfort, confidence, and engagement in a given situation. One key takeaway from this chapter is that paying attention to the nonverbal cues of the torso and limbs can help you to better understand a person's emotional state and intention, and can also help you to project the right image in business interactions. Actionable steps. Pay attention to your own posture and gestures in order to project confidence and engagement in business interactions. Learn to recognize and interpret the nonverbal cues of the torso and limbs in order to better understand the emotional state and intentions of the people you are interacting with. Practice mirroring the nonverbal cues of the people you are interacting with in order to establish a sense of rapport and connection. Chapter 7. The Face. In this chapter, Navarro delves into the nonverbal cues conveyed by the face, including micro-expressions, eye contact, and facial expressions. He emphasizes the importance of learning to read these cues in order to better understand a person's emotional state and intentions. One key takeaway from this chapter is that the face can be one of the most important sources of nonverbal cue, and learning to read and interpret these cues can help you to better understand and influence the people you are interacting with in business and personal contexts. Actionable steps. Learn to recognize and interpret micro-expressions, which are brief facial expressions that can reveal a person's true emotional state. Pay attention to a person's eye contact, which can signal engagement and honesty or avoidance and deception. Practice maintaining good eye contact in business interactions in order to project confidence and trustworthiness. Be mindful of your own facial expressions and practice projecting positive and authentic emotions in order to create a more positive and productive emotional tone in business interactions. Chapter 8. The Micro-expressions. In this chapter, Navarro explores the concept of micro-expressions, which are very brief facial expressions that can reveal a person's true emotions. He explains how to recognize and interpret micro-expressions and how they can be used to better understand a person's thoughts and feelings. One key takeaway from this chapter is that learning to read micro-expressions can provide valuable insights into a person's true emotional state, even when they are trying to hide their feelings. As an entrepreneur, this can be particularly important in situations like hiring or firing employees, where understanding a person's true emotions can help you make better decisions. Actionable steps. Practice recognizing and interpreting micro-expressions using resources like the facial action coding system. Pay attention to the micro-expressions of the people you are interacting with in order to better understand their emotional state and intentions. Be mindful of your own micro-expressions and practice projecting positive and authentic emotions in order to create a more positive emotional tone in business interactions. Chapter 9. Body Language at Work. In this chapter, Navarro explores the different types of nonverbal cues that can be used in a work setting, including body posture, gestures, and eye contact. He also emphasizes the importance of understanding cultural differences in nonverbal communication. One key takeaway from this chapter is that understanding the different types of nonverbal cues that can be used in a work setting, as well as cultural differences in nonverbal communication, can help you to build stronger relationships and achieve greater success in business. Actionable steps. Research the cultural norms around nonverbal communication in the countries or regions where you do business in order to avoid misunderstandings or offense. Practice adapting your own nonverbal communication style to better align with the cultural norms of the people you are interacting with. Pay attention to the nonverbal cues of the people you are interacting with, and adjust your own communication style to better align with their preferences and needs. Chapter 10. Detecting Deception. In this chapter, Navarro discusses the nonverbal cues that can indicate deception, including inconsistencies in nonverbal behavior, avoidance of eye contact, and speech errors. He emphasizes the importance of being able to recognize these cues and provides tips for how to respond when you suspect someone is being deceptive. One key takeaway from this chapter is that understanding the nonverbal cues of deception can help you to avoid being deceived and to make more informed decisions in your business and personal life. Actionable steps. Learn to recognize the nonverbal cues of deception, including inconsistencies in nonverbal behavior and speech errors. Pay attention to these cues in your business interactions and take steps to verify information or clarify inconsistencies when you suspect deception. Be mindful of your own nonverbal behavior and practice projecting authenticity and transparency in order to avoid being perceived as deceptive. Chapter 11. Putting it all together. In this chapter, Navarro summarizes the key insights and concepts covered in the book and emphasizes the importance of practicing and developing your nonverbal communication skills. One key takeaway from this chapter is that nonverbal communication is a complex and nuanced field, and developing strong skills in this area requires ongoing practice and education. Actionable steps. Review and practice the nonverbal communication concepts covered in the book, focusing on areas where you may need more improvement or practice. Seek out additional resources on nonverbal communication, including books, courses, and workshops. Practice active observation and listening in your personal and professional interactions, with a focus on recognizing and interpreting nonverbal cues. Chapter 12. Nonverbals in Action. In this chapter, Navarro provides several case studies and examples of how nonverbal communication can be used in a variety of personal and professional contexts, including negotiation, sales, and interpersonal relationships. One key takeaway from this chapter is that nonverbal communication can be a powerful tool for achieving success in a wide range of contexts, and that developing strong skills in this area can be a valuable asset. Actionable steps. Seek out examples and case studies of how nonverbal communication has been used effectively in various contexts, and look for ways to apply these insights in your own personal and professional life. Practice adapting your nonverbal communication style to different contexts and situations in order to better achieve your goals and build stronger relationships. Chapter 13. You Can Do It. In this final chapter, Navarro provides encouragement and motivation for readers to continue developing their nonverbal communication skills, emphasizing that anyone can learn to be more observant and skilled in this area. One key takeaway from this chapter is that developing strong skills in nonverbal communication is a journey, and that success in this area requires ongoing practice and dedication. Actionable steps. Embrace a growth mindset when it comes to nonverbal communication, recognizing that everyone has the potential to develop strong skills in this area with practice and dedication. Seek out feedback from others on your nonverbal communication skills in order to better identify areas where you may need improvement. Celebrate small wins and progress in your nonverbal communication journey, and stay motivated by focusing on the positive impact this can have on your personal and professional life. Overall, what everybody is saying provides a comprehensive and insightful overview of the importance of nonverbal communication and how it can be used to better read and influence the people around us. As an entrepreneur, developing strong skills in nonverbal communication can be an important tool for building relationships, making better business decisions, and ultimately achieving greater success. Chapter 14. Nonverbals in the Future. In this chapter, Navarro discusses the future of nonverbal communication and how technology is changing the way we interact and communicate with each other. He emphasizes the importance of staying aware of these changes and adapting our skills accordingly. One key takeaway from this chapter is that the world is constantly evolving, and staying ahead of these changes can be key to success in business and life. Actionable steps. Stay up to date with the latest trends and technologies in nonverbal communication, and seek out resources and training opportunities to develop new skills. Be open to change and adaptation in your personal and professional life, and embrace a growth mindset that welcomes new challenges and opportunities. Stay aware of the potential limitations and drawbacks of new technologies and communication methods, and use them in ways that are both effective and ethical. Chapter 15. The Key to Success. In this chapter, Navarro reflects on his own experiences and career as an FBI agent, and emphasizes the importance of developing strong nonverbal communication skills for achieving success in any field. One key takeaway from this chapter is that nonverbal communication can be a powerful tool for achieving success, and that developing strong skills in this area can be a valuable asset. Actionable steps. Seek out examples and case studies of how nonverbal communication has been used effectively in various contexts, and look for ways to apply these insights in your own personal and professional life. Embrace a growth mindset when it comes to nonverbal communication, recognizing that everyone has the potential to develop strong skills in this area with practice and dedication. Chapter 16, Summary and Conclusions. In this final chapter, Navarro summarizes the key insights and concepts covered in the book and provides a final call to action for readers to continue developing their nonverbal communication skills. One key takeaway from this chapter is that nonverbal communication is a complex and nuanced field, and developing strong skills in this area requires ongoing practice and education. Actionable steps. Review and practice the nonverbal communication concepts covered in the book, focusing on areas where you may need more improvement or practice. Seek out additional resources on nonverbal communication, including books, courses, and workshops. Practice active observation and listening in your personal and professional interactions, with a focus on recognizing and interpreting nonverbal cues. Embrace a growth mindset when it comes to nonverbal communication, recognizing that everyone has the potential to develop strong skills in this area with practice and dedication. Overall, what everybody is saying provides a comprehensive and insightful overview of the importance of nonverbal communication and how it can be used to better read and influence the people around us. As an entrepreneur, developing strong skills in nonverbal communication can be an important tool for building relationships, making better business decisions, and ultimately achieving greater success.